Hey, welcome. Today, we're diving into a really foundational text, one that lays out this incredibly detailed blueprint for a just society. We're talking about the fourth chapter of the Quran, Surah An Nisa, which literally means the women. And you'll see it gets that name because of how much it focuses on women's rights and family law.
Right from the get-go, the chapter opens with this powerful declaration. It sets up the core principle for everything that's about to come. That all of us, all of humanity, men and women, we all come from the same single source. And this isn't just some poetic intro. No, this is the philosophical bedrock for everything else, framing all people as one big, interconnected family. And that idea of a shared origin, that is the crucial point here. The text uses this concept to build a whole framework of mutual responsibility. I mean, think about it. If we're all one family, then we have duties to each other, right? Especially to those who are the most vulnerable among us. And this isn't just some abstract theory. The chapter immediately jumps into some very, very practical applications.
So, how does this principle actually play out? Well, the very first group the text focuses on protecting are orphans. Because let's face it, in any society, they're often the most vulnerable to exploitation. So the text lays down these firm, crystal-clear rules to protect not just their well-being, but also their property.
Okay, so how exactly should this protection work? See, the text doesn't just say, hey, be nice to orphans. It provides a specific, almost legalistic framework for how to be a guardian. The whole point is to make sure their inheritance is totally safe until they're mature enough to handle it themselves.
And what's really fascinating is the process it lays out. It's basically a three-step system, and it's all about responsibility and accountability. First, you have to test their maturity. Second, and this is a big one, you are strictly forbidden from chipping away at their wealth for your own benefit. And third, when they're ready, you have to formally hand over their property, with witnesses present. It's a whole system designed to shut down any possibility of abuse.
And you know, the text does not mince words about what happens if you violate this trust. This image of consuming fire into your own belly, wow, that is incredibly powerful, isn't it? It takes financial exploitation from just a regular crime and elevates it to something with profound spiritual consequences. It really shows you just how serious this responsibility is meant to be. So, from protecting orphans, the text makes a natural shift to the institution that really forms the core of any society, the family. It lays out some very detailed rules for marriage, all aimed at structuring the family unit on principles of justice and making sure everyone's rights are clear.
Now here's where we get into some of the most discussed verses. The text does permit marrying more than one wife, but, and this is a huge but, it's tied to this very demanding condition of treating all wives with absolute justice. And if a man feels he can't do that, the text points him toward marrying only one. Crucially, it also establishes the mahar, or the dowry. This isn't a price for the bride, it's a mandatory gift from the husband directly to his wife, which helps secure her own financial independence within the marriage.
And this part, I think, is a brilliant look at the messiness of real human relationships. It's so realistic. It flat out acknowledges that feelings can change, that a husband might actually grow to dislike his wife, but instead of giving a green light to just end it, it advises patience. It suggests, maybe hold on, because there might be some greater good in that relationship that you just can't see right now.
Okay, now we get to what was, for its time, one of the most revolutionary parts of this whole chapter, spelling out in detail women's rights to inheritance. You have to remember, this was at a time when women were often treated like property themselves. So for this text to grant them specific, guaranteed shares of the family estate, that was a massive deal.
And the crucial thing to see here is the level of detail. This isn't just some vague suggestion like, oh, be fair. No, this is a fixed legal framework. The text lays out the exact fractions of the estate that go to wives, mothers, and daughters, making sure they have economic security. This whole system of prescribed shares was just a radical departure from the customs of that time.
And just to give you a sense of how comprehensive these laws are, the text even defines and gives rules for less common scenarios. It has this term, kalala, for a situation where someone passes away without any direct heirs. No kids, no parents. The fact that the text accounts for these specific cases just shows you the incredible depth of this legal system.
So you can see how it all built, right? These specific laws about family then broaden out to create the ethical foundations for the entire community. The focus zooms out from the individual household to society as a whole.
In this verse, wow, this is such a powerful call for absolute, unconditional justice. According to the text,
Justice isn't something you apply only when it's convenient. It has to be upheld even if it goes against your own interests or even against the interests of your own parents and closest relatives. It's meant to be a universal, uncompromising principle.
So what we have here is basically the social code of conduct from the chapter. You can see how it expands that circle of responsibility outwards, from your parents and relatives to orphans and the needy, and even to your neighbors, both the ones next door and those farther away. It blends these social duties with warnings against personal flaws like arrogance and greed, and it even provides a practical method for solving family disputes through arbitration. It's a whole vision for social harmony.
So when you put it all together, what do you get? Well, as we've seen, Surah An Nisa weaves together these very specific laws with these broad ethical principles. And it all circles back to that very first idea we talked about, the single human family. The argument is that a just and healthy society is built from the ground up, by protecting the vulnerable, by establishing justice within the family, and by demanding moral integrity from every single person in the community.
And that really brings us to the final thought, the question I want to leave you with. These principles we've discussed on social welfare, on women's rights, on impartial justice, they were laid out 1,400 years ago. So the big question for us today is, what does this ancient blueprint for a just society mean in the middle of all the complexities of our modern world?